Denise Gwen, reading aloud for you from my short story, The Greasy Spoon, Chapter 39. But before he did anything, he needed to speak to her. With his free hand, he dragged her, sobbing, toward a door set into the end of the building and released his hold on her hand and turned the doorknob, and thank God, thank the dear Lord above, the door opened and he pushed her inside. "No," she cried when she realized what he was doing and reached for him. "Yes." He gazed at her hard. "Do you remember when we got here today? The trucks the men drove?" Her teeth chattered. "I stay with you." "No," he said firmly. "You go back through the factory and to the trucks and find a key to start the engine." He felt so stupid, but he didn't know if she knew what the word key meant. So he pantomimed an imaginary key being inserted into a starter and made the grrr, grrr sound of an engine running. "See," she said, understanding, flooding her senses. "The key might be in the visor. You know, the thing that you use to shield your eyes when it's sunny? Do you know what I mean? Or else it might be under the seat, but there will be a truck key somewhere inside the truck, okay? And I will deal with these guys and then I'll come for you. Wait in the truck if you can. Keep your head down and hide. Can you do that?" She gazed at him with wide, terrified eyes, then nodded slowly. He pushed her inside. "Good. Now go." He didn't stop to think of the merits of locking this door versus not locking it, and he really didn't have any more time to think on it, and didn't wonder at the timing. He was taking his mercies as he found them. And the coincidence of a ladder, well, it was just too darn good to pass up, you know? And this ladder, attached to the building and leading up to the roof, well, it was something, wasn't it? Yes, it was. He leaped for it and scrambled up it with one hand on the rung and the other hand holding the cattle prod. It was slow going, but he finally reached the top, and as he hoisted himself up and over the ladder, he threw himself onto his stomach and laid the cattle prod down beside him and shucked his feet up and off the railing and swung them around and lay down on his stomach and flattened himself onto the singeing hot melted tar of the roof. He heard pounding footfalls on the grass, and in the next second, 3 men ran around the backside of the building and came to a stop. "Where'd he go?" Clem asked. He was breathing hard. He put one hand on his left knee and bent over slightly, huffing and puffing. Nick studied him. Wasn't he the farmer with the splotchy face? Or was it Buddy? Clem's face was eggplant purple as he bent over at the knees and herked up a wad of phlegm onto the grass. "Well now, will you look at that? He might not be in the best of health, but he sure as hell knew how to handle his weapon." He rested his rifle in the crook of his elbow and glanced toward the woods. "He took one of the girls as hostage." "He took Maria." Jeb Jr. sauntered over to the far end of the building to where they'd parked the trucks and gazed down the length of it. And Nick was glad that he'd told Maria to go through the factory. Who knew what Jeb Jr. might have done if he'd seen her running away? He decided that he didn't want to think on that. Jeb Jr. spat with a ruminative scowl. "He didn't run down this way. I would have seen him." "No, he'd still be running if he did," Clem said, gazing around the corner as well and returning to stand in front of the door. "Do you think he ran inside?" Jeb asked, pointing the shotgun at the door. "He could have run off to the woods," Clem said. "He could have hightailed it up this here ladder," Jeb Jr. said. And as he spoke these words, Nick flinched and drew back. Up on the roof? Clem asked. Fuck. Nah, Jeb said. It's hot as an oven up there. He'll roast to death. Beats getting my head blown off. But Junior was wiser than his dopey face revealed. I think he's up on the roof. Jeb grunted. Well, son, if he is, he ain't going nowhere. How do you figure? Jeb Jr. asked. Clem grunted. Maybe you's right. Okay, this is what we're going to do, Jeb said. He nodded at his son. Junior, you check the roof. Me and Clem will check the factory. He could have run in there and hid somewhere, or Maria could have done hid him too, and I think he's got a better chance if he done gone that way through the factory. A trickle of fear laced into Nick's heart. What would they do to Maria if they found her? You got another weapon? Something easier to handle? Clem asked Junior. Junior whipped out a handgun and grinned. Why, yes, Junior had a weapon.